First of all, relax, I'm not going to spoil Rise of Skywalker in this video. If I were gonna do that, I would warn you well ahead of time. So the Star Wars sequel trilogy has ended. It feels like just yesterday, J.J. Abrams was recruited to direct Star Wars Episode 7, and now the dream is over. Well, for now at least. I think it's safe to say we've seen the last of the likes of Luke Skywalker, Princess Leia, and Han Solo. The saga is over. Again. And the circle is complete. Again. And when all is said and done, how did it all work out? What were the highlights and what were the low points? Well, we're gonna go through that by ranking every one of the Disney Star Wars movies. Until the next one. So starting off at 5th place as the worst of the Disney Star Wars movies is Episode 8, The Last Jedi. My general defense of the sequels trilogy when compared to the prequel trilogy is that the sequel trilogy is on a whole much more watchable, much more entertaining. Unfortunately, that doesn't really apply quite so well to The Last Jedi, as this 2.5 hour gauntlet of a movie unloads questions galore on the audience with very few actual answers. The film goes out of its way to say, hey, you think you know your heroes and your villains when it comes to this franchise, eh? Well, there's more to everybody than meets the eye. Can't be jumping to conclusions. Alright then, Last Jedi, tell us then. What is it about these characters that we need to know? Well, Rey is pure benevolent good, and Kylo Ren is an evil piping hot mess. Okay, and Poe Dameron isn't always right. Okay, that's not really something I ever asked. So, what are you trying to say, movie? Well, it turns out these characters are three-dimensional after all. I'm sensing a weird kind of reactionary sensibility about The Last Jedi. It was like the film was very aware that its predecessor played on tropes and archetypes, and this film wanted to say, okay, but this is not that. And that's the thing. The Last Jedi makes a point of saying this is not what this is, but it doesn't really make any kind of a point of saying what any of it actually is anyway. There's a lot of backwards and forwards, a lot of twists that untwist themselves after a very brief period of time. And when all is said and done, and we've seen the entire sequel trilogy in its completion, The Last Jedi just kind of feels like dress rehearsals for the next film. And it just makes for a very exhausting, very frustrating, and just kind of an endurance test of a movie. Another problem with this is just how much is stuffed into this movie. It's like a film that wants to answer every single unanswered question about every single character in the galaxy. And it does it by it answers questions with further questions. And by the end, you're just like, oof, okay, I didn't get any of that. And seriously, the less we say about the subplot on Canto Bight, the better, as the comedy in this one just landed like a kamikaze pilot. But in spite of all that, there is a lot to actually like about this film. The cinematography is the best of the main 9 Star Wars movies. Seriously, the visuals in this are absolutely gorgeous. And I can kind of appreciate what Rian Johnson was going for with Kylo Ren in this film, even if it just didn't land with me properly. Also, Yoda makes an appearance, and he is in puppet form for the first time since the original version of the Phantom Menace. And isn't that just wonderful? I don't know, I think so. In 4th place is Solo, a Star Wars story. Solo is not a bad film. Are there things about it that I dislike? Yeah, I really don't like the origin of the name Han Solo, where the guy's just like, so you're all by yourself, are you? It's like, yep. It's like, well, they should call you Han Solo. And it's just, why? Why could that not just be his legal name? My god, you can't let anything like this make it into an Obi-Wan spin-off. Can you imagine that? It's like, what's your name? Obi. Alright, and how many of you are there in your party? Oh, just the one. Huh. Obi-Wan. Cue the Jared Leto Joker laugh. Other than that, it's a solid flick, completely forgettable, nothing that anybody asked for, doesn't really answer any burning questions other than when the hell is Darth Maul gonna make a comeback, and it is, in the sequel to this, Oh god. Never mind then. But in some ways it kind of plays out like a western in space, and that's pretty cool. I've forgotten all of it, which is why I can't really talk about it properly, but hey, I remember enjoying it. In third place is Episode 9, Rise of Skywalker. And I give you my word, this is spoiler-free. Rise of Skywalker is supposed to be the grand conclusion of the entirety of the Star Wars Skywalker saga. But it's very much a film that is at odds with everything that's come before it. Like The Last Jedi, it is very, very reactionary to things that people did and didn't like about the franchise so far. So rather than a natural progression of this story and a proper conclusion to the series, we get a very detached story about our new cast looking for MacGuffin after MacGuffin after MacGuffin, and then a nostalgia tour of just crowd-pleasing moments in constant succession. As a Star Wars fan, I enjoyed myself, but I can't call this the best one in the saga simply because it's extremely reactionary, and it just goes for very easy means of crowd-pleasing moments. I would have been far more impressed if they could have just given us a brand new movie with brand new ideas and originality and made that something worth celebrating. And instead they took the easiest method in the book, and that's not what bothers me about this movie the most though. It's the plot armor that the main characters have throughout this entire thing. The film makes such a big deal of what the Empire, the First Order is, how big they are, how tough of an enemy they are supposed to be, but the heroes just make such quick work of them in this movie. And there's only like 3 of them, up against a whole army with no, like, special skills. They're not fighting like a reduced faction or anything. The villains are at the top of their power in this one, at the top of their game, but they just get cleaved through like butter. I'm talking about stormtroopers, keep your pants on. And yeah, there are big emotional beats that just do not land the way they're supposed to. In fact, they have the opposite effect. But I mean, hey, it's fueled by movie magic, it's fueled by silliness, it's an enjoyable film. It's just kind of dumb fun. And the thing is, I know a lot of people are like, well, you're using that as criticism, but it's a movie about space wizards and laser swords. Well, I think that's just a very far-fetched way of saying, I can't possibly comprehend how people can have any kind of attachment to something so fantastical and still hold it to any kind of standard because I'm a nonce. Star Wars can get away with being kind of silly and kind of dumb, but there comes a point when it's kind of too dumb and silly. And I think The Rise of Skywalker steps over that line one too many times. But hey, it's still a good time at the movies. And we're coming to the final 2, which is where I would be supposed to pad this thing out with honorable mentions, but The Mandalorian, haven't seen it. I don't have Disney Plus. It's not out here in the UK, and NordVPN can do many things, but it can't give me a credit card that's compatible. And that pesky Boba Talks won't tell me his secret. So the film's only released in 2 countries, the USA and the Netherlands, and it's not set to come out anywhere else until 6 months. So because I'm feeling petty, it gets a 0 out of 10 for that. Relax, I'm not serious. And in second place, now I've got to pad this more. And in second place is Star Wars Episode 7, The Force Awakens. The Force Awakens, like every Star Wars sequel movie, was a very reactionary experience, doing everything it could to remind old viewers of the original trilogy, and doing as much as it could to just pretend the prequels were not the last thing of Star Wars that we ever watched. But as well as that, it was intended to be a jumping on point for new fans of the franchise. J.J. Abrams and everybody involved were all pretty aware that the name Star Wars was synonymous with 2 different levels of quality. It was either amazing, like the classic original trilogy, or embarrassing, like the prequels. So they were just kind of hugging onto that original trilogy with this one, even to the point of including original trilogy characters and making this a very direct sequel. And now I think they could have pulled this off with an entirely new cast and started at a brand new beginning of a brand new story. I mean, the games, the books, and the comics, they've been doing just that. So we didn't really need to see Han Solo again, and we didn't really need to retread old plot threads like a giant Death Star thing in the sky, except it's a way bigger Death Star called Starkiller Base. We didn't really need someone following in the direct footsteps of Darth Vader deliberately, but when a studio needs money, it needs money, and this is what this was. And you know what? The outcome was an immensely enjoyable film. I mean, it wasn't just a copy-paste of A New Hope, it was still a new movie. It was just more like a New Hope. It was refreshed, a little upgraded in places. It was good. I liked it. I'm just gonna paint this target on my chest while I say this. Just, you know, hopefully no one will hit me. I think we're all in agreement that The Force Awakens was a good start for the new movies. Ow! And in first place is Rogue One, a Star Wars story. Rogue One answers a burning question relating to a plot hole in the original A New Hope. And this was a plot hole that all of us were willing to overlook, but hey, it was still a plot hole, so this film, yeah, sure, it's justified. And that plot hole is, why did the Death Star have such a blatant weak point? And it's because the Death Star was built by slave rebels. And well, that clears that up just about as well as you could possibly ask it to. Rogue One is effectively the best Star Wars prequel, taking place between Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope, but it's sort of like it's immediately before A New Hope. So basically, a squad of rebels want to effectively put a stop to the construction of the Death Star, and the Empire is having none of it. And this includes such favorite returning characters as Grand Moff Tarkin, now brought back to life using CGI, and yeah, it's noticeable, but it's cool, it looks good. He kind of looks a little alien among the other humans because he moves a little strangely, but it's as close to a fully CGI human as I think we're ever gonna get. Then again, the future is not today, and that is evidenced by that Cats movie, because for now, that is not how you use CGI. But also, Darth Vader is back for the first time since Revenge of the Sith. And for all 2 minutes that he's on screen, he is terrific. Star Wars Rogue One, though, it definitely... I don't want to use this term because it's a cliche and it's what you're supposed to use for The Last Jedi, but it definitely averts expectation. Because, like, it does away with a lot of the codes and conventions of Star Wars. It does away with a lot of the silliness of it. It's got a much more bleak, sort of a war-like feel to it. There's no opening crawl, the theme music is different. In terms of the aesthetic of this movie, because it takes place just before A New Hope, it's just about as Star Wars-y as it gets, kind of appearance-wise, but something is just different about it. The storytelling is just refreshed, it's different, it's quicker, it's more hard-hitting than before, and my god, this film made some of the best space battles we've ever seen. And this is the film that has, by far in my opinion anyway, the best cinematography of any Star Wars film to date. My god, this film just looks terrific. Right, well then, you scruffy looking nerf herders, that is my ranking of all of the Disney Star Wars films so far. What do you guys think? Comment below and discuss, and as always, if you enjoyed this video and you want to see more like it, don't forget to hit subscribe, hit the like button, and in the description below is the link to my Patreon. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and have a great day. That's a cute outfit. Did your husband give it to you? Because you could get a way better costume from Zentai Zone. Check out their range of custom-made, tailored superhero costumes. Ridiculously good quality, value, and customization. Link is in the description below, as well as my coupon code CHANNELPUP, where you can get a discount off of your purchase. And while you're at it, why not get your suit designed by my talented buddy Dan from New Blood Dan's workshop? You can contact him via the link in the description below. Seriously guys, you do not want to miss out on your chance to be your favorite superhero and feel authentic and professional. And you don't want to miss out on that Channel Pup discount.
Can you feel the sunshine? Does it bright?